All right, let's get it. Today, I'm going to do another video that's literally a question. And before you answer yes or no, watch the entire video and then make your determination. So the question of the day is, do giants still exist? Now, before we get into it, let's look up the Merriam-Webster legal definition of a giant. And of course, y'all know I love definitions. So it reads, a legendary human-like being of great stature and strength. That's definition number one. Definition 2A, a living being of great size. Definition 2B, a person of extraordinary powers. Definition 3, something unusually large or powerful. And definition 4 has to do with astronomy, so that's not really relevant. The reason why I'm asking this question is relative to the story of David and Goliath. And then I'm sure everyone's familiar with the story, the 13-year-old that kills the giant Philistine with the rock from a slingshot. Said is one of the more famous stories out of the Bible. And if you haven't read it, you should go read it, look it up. It's a great story. But in 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 4, we get a breakdown or a description of Goliath's size. And it says, and there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. And a cubit basically is the length from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger, like the length of your forearm, including your hand, right? Which is approximately 18 inches, something like that. So if you break that down or Google it, it comes out that Goliath was, according to this, like 9.5 feet tall. This is just me being me, basically. I'm not questioning the Bible, but I am questioning the validity of that because in my mind, it's a guesstimate at best. I don't think they actually went out and measured Goliath, so I think this is just someone looking and going, oh, wow, this guy is 9.5 feet tall or what have you. So the reason I say all of that is to say this. The height of an average 13-year-old is basically 5 feet 2 inches. And you can see on the screen, this is what Google is saying. This is not what I am saying. So, I think when people hear the word giant, they think of like Gulliver's Travels or, Jack and the Beanstalk. they think of someone or something that's just like, you know, 20 feet tall and can pick up a human in one hand like they're a Barbie doll or a G.I. Joe doll or something to that effect. And I again, it's like I was saying last week, I think we don't look at things in a realistic way when it comes to biblical um I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, comparisons. You know, like I was saying last week, we always want like the mystical figures or the mystical events to try and disprove, right? In my mind, that's what it's all about. Is, you know, you want to say that it's fantasy, so you assign these events and you assign this like size to Goliath to say, oh yeah, yeah, that's not possible, it never happened. But if you look at things in a more logical way, if you just apply a little common sense, you can totally see how they can come up with these stories, and it wouldn't be that far-fetched, and not that far-fetched today, right? So Muggsy Bogues is the shortest player to ever play in the NBA, and he was 5'3". He's standing next to Yao Ming, who is 7'6". Wouldn't that look like a giant that is basically can't be conquered? You know, like if you'd see them square up in a fight, you'd be like, there's no way Muggsy Bogues is going to win that fight, right? And I think like the average height of a man is like what, 5'9", something like that, 5'10", somewhere to that effect, right? So even that person standing next to Yao Ming, you're the average man standing next to Yao Ming, you're going to look at his size and be intimidated and think, yeah, I can't win this fight. So it's not that crazy to think that when they seen Goliath standing across the field, that they would be scared of him if they were all of average height or size. And I have listed just like some of the tallest guys to ever play in the NBA. Sean Bradley, 7'7". Manute Bol, 7'7". Georgie Murashan, 7'7". Taco Fall, who's going to be in the next slide, is 7'6". You know, think of it like this. Think of your 13-year-old son or your 13-year-old nephew or your 13-year-old cousin fighting Shaquille O'Neal. Right? You'd be like, man, are you crazy? There's absolutely no way in hell you're going to win this fight. That's what makes the story of David and his faith so incredible. So moving on to the next slide. So on the left, we have Taco Fall, who I mentioned in the previous slide. He's 7'6". On the slide on the right, we have Yao Ming and Shaquille O'Neal. And we all know that Shaq is a big dude. Look how much smaller he is than Yao Ming. So if Yao Ming can make Shaq look like an average sized dude, like I said, just imagine what that looks like to an average sized man. You know, someone that's 5'10", 5'8", 5'9", however tall they were, right? And they're looking across the battlefield. Think about that commercial with Jamie Foxx and Kevin Garnett and Jamie Foxx has to stand on that box. He turns it one way and he's still not tall enough, so he has to flip it up on its side so he can stand eye to eye with Kevin Garnett, who's 7 feet tall. He's not even as tall as Shaq or Yao Ming, and Jamie Foxx is what, average size dude, 5'8", 5'9" ish, right? So just let all of that sink in when we think, do giants still exist? Well, that's all I have for this one. I just wanted to throw that out there to answer the question. Yes, I do think giants still exist. I think the NBA is full of giants. I think the NFL is full of giants. So yeah, I think that these stories about, you see the large skulls that supposedly been found. Yeah, I think all of that is just internet fodder. I think those pictures are doctored and they're fake. They're photoshopped. But I do think if we look at it from a common sense standpoint and just think what an average size man is and apply the legal definition of a giant, yes, giants do still exist. Well, like I said, I'm not going to make this a long video. That's all I have for this one. If you like the way I think, slide over to Patreon. Check out some of my original short stories. It's only $1.50 per download. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss out on our future videos. Like always, I thank you for your time. Peace.